What's up guys, macadii here, and today we guys a brand new DSL video where it's going to be week 4 of the DSL where I was up against FreezeDryJaz of the Vilnius Aerial Aces. Now I know this just to say it is the team building video. Unfortunately he had problems with his schedule, so he did have to end up not being able to play this week, so I do apologise that we don't have the game. But I know you guys learn a lot from the sort of the prep, and you find that really useful. So I thought rather than throwing away a few hours of prep, I could still at least get an upload for you guys where you can have a look and see how exactly I decided to prep for him. And hopefully you find that quite useful. So we'll run through what he could potentially be bringing, and then we're going to bring through sort of what we decide to bring to try and counter all of his sets. So he's got Starmie, Thunderous Eye, macadii, Gliscor, Primeape, Blaziken, Metagross, Umbreon, Crawdaunt, Sableye, and Mark. So there are a few things to note from here. In terms of his hazard removal, he only really had the Starmie or the Gliscor, but then if the Gliscor was defog, it couldn't have or what's we call it, Poison Heal, just because of the way it works with the abilities in the different gens and stuff like that. So that was going to be really nice. The Sableye and the Umbreon both kind of fill the same role, so they're going to be quite passive. Potentially we can set up with those things and do a huge amount of damage to them. He's got a lot of very spooky offense. The Starmie is going to rip holes in a lot of our team, especially with that Bolt Beam coverage to be able to handle walls like Rotom Mow and also Milotic, so we're going to have to be really careful with that. Thunderous Eye can T-Wave a lot of our offensive threats and do a huge amount to them, so that's something else we have to watch out for, and also powerful electric type moves. So a very spooky mon to say the least. macadii as well, very scary. So he's got a lot of very scary offense, a good amount of bulk with like Umbreon, Gliscor, which form a really nice core, and some really good wall breakers with like Blaziken and the Metagross, and also obviously the Crawdaunt as well. So there are a few things that I wanted to bring to try and handle his threats. The first one I had a look at and definitely wanted to bring was the Talonflame. So the Talonflame has the advantage it outspeeds all of his offense with this investment, which is really nice. I decided to go for leftovers because I want this guy to have longevity. He's not going to be a sweeper or anything like that. He's designed to outspeed his entire team, get those really like key amounts of damage, do a lot of U-turning and Volt turning, because in terms of rocks he's got Metagross and possibly the Gliscor or macadii. So he's not got huge amounts in terms of rocks options. Most of these would prefer to be either like offensive, or Gliscor always appreciates the 4 moves to be able to like either run a Stally set or Swords Dance set. So I really think Talonflame was going to be useful this match, and really key things like I outspeed the macadii, so I can go for the Steel Wing. The Thunderous Eye, I can Brave Bird late game if it is weakened enough and I won't get paralyzed, which is great. Flare Blitz allows me to hit the Metagross, and I can U-turn a lot of things. It basically, as I said, just start the like a Volt Turn core going. Then we've got our Nidoqueen, which is a Sheer Force Life Orb set. This guy is really nice and breaks through a lot of his defensive cores. So we can got Ice Beam there, which hits the Gliscor very hard. So if it's a defensive Gliscor, we can absolutely smash that to pieces. We've got, we can put huge dents into the Umbreon depending on its spread. If it's more of a specially defensive, maybe not. But that means something else might be able to come along and do a huge amount. Like Talonflame is going to be doing a lot more with U-turns and things like that from there. We've got Earth Power to hit the Metagross very hard, and we've gone for more of a bulky set. So this guy is designed to be able to switch into things like the Thunderous Eye, potentially take like an Earth Power or something like that from macadii, take hits from like Primeape. It's basically designed to be able to take a hit and then dish back huge damage back from there. We can switch into the Sableye, not take too much from foul plays and stuff like that, and get really nice hits off with the Earth Power and things like that, and most importantly set up the Stealth Rock, because as I said, his Starmie and his Gliscor is only real defoggers, and with rocks up, Thunderous Eye becomes a lot less spooky, and also just everything starts getting worn down a little bit more, which is really nice and helps Talonflame. Basically just the rocks plus Talonflame and U-turn, just basically, you know, shuffle his team around, get as much damage on as we can from there. Then I wanted some way to be able to check the Crawdaunt and also be able to break through his defenses. So I decided a Choice Scarf from Rotom Mow is really nice. It allows me to put huge damage on the Starmie, a reliable switch into the Thunderous Eye as well, outside of maybe HP Ice or something like that. But we've got our own HP Ice on this set to be able to do good damage to that, or the Gliscor on the switch in from there. Trick allows us to potentially trick the Gliscor. I know we'd get our Poison Orb or something like that, but then we can always trade that away. And a Scarf Gliscor is a lot less useful than any other sort of like defensive Stally set. And also we could trick things like the Umbreon and, you know, and stuff like that. He's not got too much to reliably switch into this guy, and it gives me a really nice Volt Turn core with Talonflame that checks a lot of his offense and puts a lot of pressure on his defense as well. Then we've got our wall breaking Mega Gardevoir, which has a really nice matchup. If you look at his team, Metagross is probably the only thing on his team, maybe the Muck, but I'm not expecting the Muck, to be able to reliably take a Hyper Voice. The Mega Diancie might be able to take 1. Gliscor I know can take 2, but it can take 1, but it's not going to take 2. And I can do a huge amount with those Hyper Voices. I have sub on there as well, because I can sub up on things like Umbreon, because I can't remember if Foul Play does break the sub. I don't think it does. And that allows me then to basically get free substitute every time the Umbreon's in. And also potentially the Gliscor, depending on its set. I'd need to find out if I'm predicting it to Toxic, I can go for the sub. And if I'm behind a sub, every time I'm behind a sub, I basically get a kill. So that's really nice. We got the Hyper Voice, as I said, for most of his team. The Psychic allows me to break the Muck, and let's see, hit things like the... what else do I have it for? I think it was mainly just in case the Muck decides to come. On reflection, maybe it was probably a little bit of a null move to run. I was probably better off with just two attacks. But Shadow Ball allows me to hit the Metagross very, very hard, because that I'm expecting maybe like an AV set or something like that with Bullet Punch to be able to check me from there. And Shadow Ball does a good amount of that, especially behind a sub. If I can get 2 hits off and know I can live a Bullet Punch, I might be able to kill from there. Then we've got the Milotic, which is a slightly interesting set. We've got the Wakambari, because he's got the Thunderous Eye there and potentially the Starmie with the Thunderbolt. And what this means is that I can actually take a hit with the Wakambari and take that relatively well. And then I can go for Scald, go for the Mirror Coat from there. And basically, unless he goes into his Umbreon, which... is the only, let's see, that's, or even the Sableye, which I wouldn't particularly expect. I'd expect him to try and either just go for Thunderbolt to outright kill me, and the same again with the Starmie. I can get a really good amount of damage off with that Mirror Coat, which is going to be hopefully really, really good. We've got some good speed investment in here, which is mainly to outspeed things like, let's see, 232. That's it, to outspeed the Crawdons. This is my counter to Crawdon with Haze on there, so the Crawdons can't set up. I can start burning it with schools and stuff like that. And as I say, it can't set up on me at all, because I can always take, haze and do all that stuff, especially if it's SD as well. Because if I didn't have enough speed investment and he went for the SD, then I might not be able to live it. But I'm more likely to be able to handle one knockoff from a Dragon Dance set, haze away, and then I can recover up from there. Same as well with the Nidoqueen. I've got enough speed investment there to be able to outspeed that Crawdaunt. And then he has to go for Aqua Jet, which I might be able to live if it's not, depending on what the set is from there. And then finally, I did want to have some way to be able to defog, so I do have my Latias, but this is a slightly different set. He doesn't have too much to switch into a Draco outside of the Mega Diancie. The Metagross is probably his next best. Umbreon's still going to take a really decent chunk of damage from that, and it's a free switch into my Gardevoir, so it's kind of pretty good from there. And the Tailwind is very, very key. So my plan was for this match was to go for the Tailwind late game, go into my Gardevoir, and basically just clean up from there, get 2 or 3 kills off. Go for that Tailwind just as he's about to kill me with something like, many of his Mons really. And then, as I said, clean up with Gardevoir from there. So that was what the team was going to be. Unfortunately, as I said, we weren't able to have the battle. So I really do apologize, guys. I do try and get these done as much as possible, but sometimes real life comes in the way and you're not able to get these done. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy the team building video. I just really slurred my words horribly then. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.